Hi everyone, I'm 12 News meteorologist Steve Matregrano. I'm joined by 12 News meteorologist Catie McNeil on another edition, holiday edition of Beyond the Forecast.
This is an exciting one.
It is,
a little bit more fun.
It's a little more festive. We're around the holidays here recording this, and of course now the topic, we're going into winter. We're shifting into more wintry ideas, and obviously Christmas is now, I believe, 8 days away, and we're looking at the potential for some cold air in place.
Yeah.
Which is the start for if you want any...
One of the ingredients.
One of the ingredients, yeah. I'm holding off saying the word White Christmas, or words White Christmas. So that's actually our first question, Catie. We're going to jump right into it here.
Yeah.
The first question we have is, will we have a White Christmas this year? This is from Anthony in North Providence. And as we just mentioned, one of the key ingredients that you need this time of year, of course around Christmas, is also having the cold air in place. Because in order to get snow, you need the cold air. And
I would say the short answer is always there's a chance every year. Like the probability, there's always a chance, but it does depend on kind of what factors are lining up by a year basis, because statistically our coldest weather isn't until January and February especially. So
yeah, and it all depends on the pattern that time of year. Sometimes it might be more of an active pattern around Christmas and a stormy pattern, which for travel purposes wouldn't be ideal, but other times it's super quiet. So taking a look at the upcoming weather pattern that we have for next week for around Christmas, as we mentioned, cold air looks to be in place. There are some systems or storms that could be nearby, but nothing that looks too,
Yeah, as of right now, across the country, I think we're looking a little bit more on the dry end of things across the board. But with the cold air in place, we could even get maybe something on the lighter side.
Exactly.
Can't completely rule that out since it is still a few days away. So the
So
short answer is there's a chance.
There's still time to watch it, and we'll see. But I don't know if hopefully that answers it, Anthony from North Providence. And actually, our very own TJ Del Santo has more information on the White Christmas history going back several years. So he'll take on that.
All right, thank you very much. There's something about snow around the holidays where it's a little bit of light flurries on Christmas Eve or snow on the ground on Christmas morning. As long as it's not too much, it can be pretty festive. Maybe a little bit on the trees, not too much on the roadways, so you can get to grandma's house or auntie's house sometime during the day. We actually don't get White Christmases too often here in southern New England. First of all, what is a White Christmas? Well, here's the definition. It's when there's 1 inch of snow on the ground at 7 a.m. on Christmas morning. That's very specific rules that we go by. And we do hit those goals every once in a while. Every once in a while, we get that 1 inch of snow. The last time was on December 25th, just a few years ago. There was 2 inches on the ground at TF Green Airport at 7 a.m. on Christmas morning. There was a little bit more in Foster, Rhode Island. As you might expect, we typically get more White Christmases away from the south coast and north and west of Providence. But you know what? The last time we had a White Christmas before 2021, that was in 2009. And before that, 1993. So we haven't had many White Christmases recently. Back in 2017, you may remember we had some snow squalls that came on through around 11 o'clock in the morning. Started off pretty quiet, and then we had these really nasty snow squalls that came through the area. Some areas picked up an inch. At TF Green Airport officially, I think they picked up about 1/4 of an inch of snow. I mentioned we don't get a lot of White Christmases here in southern New England, and the long-term trend has actually been going down. Check this out. Now, I posted this online onto social media. A lot of reaction to this. Since 1904, when we started taking measurements consistently in the Providence area, we've had 49 White Christmases. 61% of those occurred before 1945. So there were 30 White Christmases, 1904, 1944, half of that between 45 and 1985. And since 1986, we've only had 4 White Christmases, only 4 official white Christmases. You may ask, why is that? And you can probably guess. There's no secret that we've been warming, not just us here in southern New England, but the entire country, the entire world has been warming. And specifically here in the Northeast, our winters have been warming more quickly than anything else. Here is the temperature plots for December 25th every single year since 1904. And you can see there's a steady rise in even those temperatures. What's that, about a 3.3 degrees rise since 1904. So even Christmas days have been getting warmer. You may remember a few years ago, back in mid-2000s, I think, we had a couple of Christmases with temperatures in the 60s. Yeah, so no surprise that Christmas has been getting warmer and warmer every single year, and specifically in the last 40 years or so, we've been seeing some of the fastest warming. So, you know, Christmas, white Christmases don't happen too often. When will we get our next one? Not looking promising this year, but you never know. And we'll have to see what Santa brings next year, or Mother Nature brings next year for white Christmases. So let's send it back to you.
All right, thanks, TJ. And now we're going to jump into question 2, which is, what was the warmest winter to date in New England? This is from April in Attleboro. And I think we kind of narrowed this down a little bit because New England as a whole, there's data records that are kept at different sites across New England, both northern and southern. So we kind of base this off of Providence specifically.
Yes, exactly. So as we were saying, we were talking off camera a little bit before we did this, you know, with Providence, you know, it may be warmer here one year, but say, let's use Burlington, Vermont as an example, they may not quite have the same weather. So it does depend on location, year to year. For us here in Providence, looks like our warmest winter on record was 2015 into 2016, because we of course use December, January, and February as the months of winter.
The meteorological winter is broken up into 3-month blocks, which is easier for data record keeping.
Exactly.
Versus the astronomical winter, which starts, I believe, the 21st this year.
Yeah, so
somewhere around there.
Yeah, so for us, we use, just keep it simple, we use the start of December through January and end of February. So, you know, and overall, you know, this past year, 2024 has been fairly warm. So, it's possible that things might change as when this winter is over. You know, in terms of this could be one of the warmer ones on records. That's, you know, of course, to be determined, but certainly interesting. And actually, our chief meteorologist, Tony Petrarca, has an upcoming winter outlook for not only the near term in terms of Christmas week, but also what we can expect as we head into the new year and into the rest of winter. We'll take a look at that.
Hi, everybody. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year from the Pinpoint Weather Team. All right, the chances of a white Christmas. You would think that the chances would be a lot higher, considering we average like 6 inches of snow for the month of December. And so far, as of this taping, I'm taping this on, was it the 18th? December 18th? Yeah. We've had only a trace of snow. So you look at this map, and it's no surprise here as far, now this is based on historical data over many, many years. Obviously no surprise, the Rocky Mountains, the high elevations, the far northern plains, the upper Great Lakes, and even northern New England. Typically your white Christmas chances are higher, and you can see that all shaded in that lighter gray and white. But, and of course, as you get towards the coastal plain, the chances do decrease a little bit. But typically, for the Providence area, now, first of all, for an official white Christmas, it has to be at least 1 inch of snow on the ground at 7 a.m. where the official records are kept, which is at the airport in Warwick. And typically, we in the Providence area, we average only 20%. Now, as you get into the northern part of the state, naturally, it's a little cooler. You tend to get more snow. The chances running at about 40%. And then you can clearly see the higher elevations of the Berkshires, the Green, the White Mountains, the Adirondacks up north. The chances are much higher. So I know TJ probably covered some of these stats already, but I can go over them one more time. The most snow on the ground on Christmas Day, 1945. I'm old, but I don't remember that one. But, you know, speaking of I'm old, right? So in my entire lifetime, now I've lived here my entire life. So going back to 1964, you do the math, you can figure out my age. Only 11 white Christmases in my lifetime here in southern New England. 2021, the last one with 2 inches, but if you remember, that was kind of a dud because technically we had 2 inches of snow on the ground on 2021, but it rained and it melted. In fact, by Christmas Eve evening, or Christmas night, it had already kind of like washed away and melted away. So the real last real white Christmas, 2009, it stayed on the ground obviously all day. We had 5 inches of snow back in 2009. So typically the chance is running at about 20%. So let's kind of jump ahead and talk about what are the chances this year. I mean we're only what, 6 days away from Christmas. The big guy's waiting. We actually brief Santa. The Pinpoint weather team will do Santa briefings via email to the big guy, let him know what it's going to be like here. All right, so here's the situation. So again, we're taping this as of December 18th. So I'll put my glasses on and take a look. So now through the 23rd. So coming up on Friday, which is December 20th, actually a light mix of some rain and snow showers. I don't think that's enough, though, to really cover the ground. Now, the last weekend before Christmas, this is now December 21 to 23. So that's Saturday, Sunday, and Monday looks windy, dry, and frigid. It'll certainly feel like the season. Some of the local ski areas will probably be making snow. We have a snow ski question later, don't we? We'll get to that. All right, so now we get down to get even closer, December 24, 25. And again, we're recording this as of December 18th. But we're seeing well, first of all, no major storms. There's nothing really glaring that tells us we got a big storm coming. With that said, some of our long-range guidance suggesting some light snow showers on Christmas Eve. So maybe some snow in the air, but not enough to coat the ground. And then perhaps a light mixture of rain and snow on Christmas Day. But again, nothing that would probably accumulate. So in fact, we're anticipating temperatures on Christmas to be a little milder. So when we take a look at, now this is exclusive, this is the snowstorm meter. Look at this. Right now we're going to go with a low probability, again, based on the latest weather pattern over the next 6 days, several days of a white Christmas this year. But don't give up on it. I mean, this whole December 24, 25, there'll be a little precipitation, both of light rain and some light snow. We just don't think it's enough to probably cover the ground. But as always, do check back with us. We had a question. Was it one of the questions was what the ski outlook for, was it Northern New England? All right, I'm a skier, love to ski. First of all, on our website, WPRI.com, we do have our winter weather outlook, which we did about a month ago, anticipating below average snowfall here in southern New England, but probably more than last year. Last year, there wasn't much snow, but boy, ski country did very, very well. Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont, the high elevations. I think this year you've got a good shot of some decent snow up in the mountains of northern New England, but I think there's going to be more variability, more pendulum swings this winter where you get some significant warm-ups and some significant rainstorms, but also some decent snows for northern New England, specifically those high elevations and into the mountains. In northern New England, we'll see a white Christmas this year, more than likely. There's snow on the ground there already. Here in southern New England, that is the forecast right now. The probability is low, but never say never. Stay tuned to updates throughout the next several days. We'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Tony. And this next question actually is a very interesting one from a meteorological standpoint. It's one that it's kind of fun to explain. Reads, one day this month it rained. The temperature dropped below freezing. So how come the rain didn't change over to snow? And that was from Andrew in Barrington. So
this is a fun one.
This is a fun one if you're a meteorologist, because you're like, getting like the science, like the nitty gritty stuff. You can kind of think about it more. There's probably a couple scenarios that I think could have played out. It's potential that, the cold air was at the surface. It was most likely, or could have been freezing rain, where it was just raindrops that were freezing on contact with the surface. That, of course, causes many issues on the roadways. And there's a chance that perhaps, we talk about columns of air in the atmosphere. As you go up, of course, it gets colder. So there's a chance that maybe one of those columns was warmer. Maybe it could have been 35, 36 degrees. maybe not by much, or maybe it was a really stronger, warm pocket that was, several degrees warmer. So,
and those kind of columns or pockets we're discussing will determine how the precipitation falls. So even
Right.
if it's cold enough at the surface, you're still seeing a little bit of a difference in the air temperatures aloft versus if we're going to see snow falling or sleet or freezing rain. There's different categories that we follow. And even grapple is a cool one too, because that's
Yes.
something you see in the warmer months associated with thunderstorm maybe. But these are all things that are kind of working their way through up aloft in the clouds that determine how things are falling as it hits the surface.
And I think it's a fun thing to note that, when the precipitation is in the clouds, it always starts as ice crystals. So it starts as snow. But it's on its way down to the surface that, if every column of air, if all the air columns are cold enough to support snow, that's why it stays snow when it reaches the ground. But that's why that little bit of warm layer, anywhere in the
Even a little
atmosphere,
bit could change that.
and that's also makes it kind of a challenge sometimes the
Yeah.
forecast, because if there's that little pocket of warm air, it could really change things for the outcome.
We just saw that actually, I believe, Monday morning, where it was like we had some precipitation coming through in areas maybe down towards South County. We're seeing all rain, but then Providence and areas farther north, we're seeing a little bit of that mixed precip and even some light snow.
And it was accumulating too in spots, and some people were saying, "Hey, what's snow?" So yeah, that happens a lot, especially in us. We're such a microclimate here that we have other variables that play into that. So, very good question, Andrew from Barrington. We appreciate that. That was a nice, fun one to look into and to discuss. Question 4. This one, Catie, we were talking about.
Yeah, I
Is
can.
interesting.
I'll read this one. So, how much is the solar maximum affecting our weather patterns? Is this a strong maximum? This is from Michael from Providence. So, solar maximums, if we're talking about sun angles and kind of how that changes throughout the year, this is why we have seasons, because of where the sun is angled in certain parts of the world, both in the northern and southern hemisphere throughout the year. Also, why in the summer, or the southern hemisphere, this is their summer, and for us it's our winter, because of how the sun hits and where it is at different times of the year.
Yeah, and it's actually an interesting fact that, which I always found fascinating, is that the sun is actually closest to the earth during the winter for us. Like, that's actually kind of interesting to think about. Like, you think, oh, that means it's warmer, but no, because of the sun angle.
Yeah, because if you look at that demonstration we've seen a million times in elementary school, where the earth is shifting and
the tilt of the
turning, so
earth, yeah.
even though the sun is at its closest this time of year, North America is turned away.
Right.
So our sun angle is at its weakest, which is why you get these colder temperatures, the days are shorter.
Right. I was just say shorter days, and that's why it gets dark out at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Yes,
Don't we all
which
love
is
that?
not my favorite thing right now.
That's
but it's okay.
my body's still adjusting to that, where it's like 5 o'clock, and you're like, wow, it feels like
And
it's
it
9.
feels like it's 9, 10
Yeah.
o'clock. It's
I
time
don't
for
like
bed
that feeling
already.
at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a good question. It kind of dove into a little bit of the astronomy side of things, but in short, does it affect our weather patterns? I would say no, but that's a really good question, and I like that one a lot. The last one.
Yes.
This is the best one of all. Question 5. This is from Christopher in Barrington. Has Santa ever had to delay Christmas because of a snowstorm? And I'll just say, Santa will never let any kind of snow stop him from delivering presents on Christmas. So
I would say that's part of the magic of Santa Claus.
It's
is
exactly.
He doesn't let anything get in his way.
It's the magic
Rudolph
of Christmas. Oh yeah.
is also a very important tool.
The bright
as
red
we
nose
know.
leads the way.
Because across the world, we could be seeing several different weather scenarios in many different parts of the globe.
As we all know, Santa's in the North Pole. And what's up in the North Pole? Not just snow,
Snow,
a lot of snow.
wind.
So I think that, Santa will have no problem, not only this year, many years to come, and also in the past, has never had any problems. So if there's any doubt that Santa would be on his way, he's going to be on his way this year.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure there's not going to be any issues.
No.
He'll make it happen.
He will. He always does. And I guess with that, we want to wish everyone a happy holidays, happy holiday season, and Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whichever you may celebrate. And, stay safe and healthy as we go through the colder months of the year. And thank you for joining us on this Beyond the Forecast holiday edition. And we look forward to seeing you in the new year. So for that, I'm 12 News meteorologist Stephen Matregrano, 12 News meteorologist Catie McNeil. Catie, thank you for doing this. I know you were feeling a little bit under the weather, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, but I'm here. I'm feeling festive. I'm glad we were able to answer these questions today.
Sounds
There's some good ones.
Appreciate it, and thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.
Hi, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tony Petrarca. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and a happy and healthy New Year. I hope Santa's good to you this year.
Hey everyone, 12 News meteorologist Stephen Matregrano here, just wishing you and your family a very happy holiday season coming our way, and wishing you a very happy New Year as well, and we'll see you in the new year.
Hi, TJ Del Santo again, wishing you and your family the happiest of holidays and a happy, healthy, and prosperous new year.
Happy holidays, everyone. I'm meteorologist Catie McNeil. Wanted to wish all of you and your families a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, whichever you may celebrate. Very grateful to be a part of the 12 News family for the second year now around the holidays, and we look forward to seeing you again in the new year.